as you stand there and see the burgomaster gallop away with the screaming artist dragged over the pavement, screaming bloody murder, suddenly your thoughts are distracted by a loud echoing boom. And as you turn, you see the stage on which previously the burgomaster has stood exploding in a great big explosion. Pieces of wood start flying through the air into the crowd. People scream, people are running, crying. Some people get hit by wood splinters and such. You see some dead guards that stood around the tribunal lying on the floor, bleeding out. Pieces of wood square through their stomachs, edged in there as they lie on the ground. Some other medics of the guards trying to help out to get people in control. The captain of the guard, who was still remaining on the stage, simply stands up and brushes it off as he slowly walks out of the carnage that used to be the stage. And as he does, you see a couple of hooded figures slink into the crowd and disperse alongside them. One of which is the man that a few moments ago Rika danced with. And as this happens, you see how Kursk looks after this and immediately barks out orders, as those men of the guard that still can stand immediately start moving into the surrounding alleyways, trying to block off the criminals from escaping. And in the midst of all this chaos is Saban and Rika, alongside with a child and Vasily and Sarah, who also look somewhat concerned, but stick around with you guys for now. Around you hear the sounds of screaming, running, and utter chaos. What do you do? Should probably get some music on.
I don't know if this is just one of those times where you should just get the fuck out.
Saban will take over Laura. Anna. Make sure she isn't hurt. Ask her if she's okay.
She stays close to you, seeming very obviously frightened by the recent events.
Put my cloak. Get her inside the cloak and just tell her to stay close and look at Rika. Should make it back to Vasily.
Yep.
The party's over.
I suppose we better get going. Sarah, would you also like it? Yes. Okay, let's just go. With that, you start heading towards...
Saban goes in the front, elbowing through the crowd.
Wise decision. You seem to be lucky as well, since most of the crowd has tried to take the direct route out onto the open street. However, some that just fled panically or simply by the virtue of standing closer to his exit point have also went down this bottleneck.
Yeah. Saban is basically elbowing to make space, to make sure that nobody gets
At what pace?
raided. calm and collected pace, so not really running.
People around you are terrified. They're rushing and they're running, and they are having the exact same plan as you. They're elbowing their way past. They want to make it out as quickly as possible, get ahead. And as you're all basically standing there, or rather walking, going calmly further, there's plenty of people behind you that want to encourage you to go faster by elbowing, pushing, or shoving you out of the way. At this point, you can roll either acrobatics to try and dodge out of the way of most of this and just get by, or athletics to resist it and stand your ground and just continue going as you were. Each of you.
Can I do my athletics at either disadvantage or something to basically try and make it easier for the others to follow me?
The assumption when you are standing your ground, essentially that itself is making it easier for you. So if you're rolling athletics, don't worry.
Making it easier for others, because Saban is mostly looking out for them.
Exactly.
Okay.
You are standing your ground, and if you are standing your ground in currently this defensive position, then they'll have some trouble to also get at the people that you are with.
21.
Okay, let me just check also the result of Sarah and Vasily. And it is utter chaos. And during all of this time, it is hard to also stay collected and keep your eyes peeled to see where everyone is. Now, Chris, you're basically...
So that's why Saban will, just saying this ahead of time, Saban basically, the cloak is over Anna, so she's under the cloak, and Saban has one hand on her shoulder, basically, keeping her close, and he's elbowing with the other one.
At the same time, I want you all to roll a perception. Now, perception is really the only thing in this situation, to try and stick together. If you do stick together, your chances are better. Chris, I encourage you to do well on this roll.
Still a little weakened from the house.
Alright. As you keep moving on, Chris, you're actually, you have it actually rather roughly. You try to stick together. Pardon me. You try to stick together with the group and with everyone else. However, as they frantically ran through the street, trying to get right and left, there's just no way. You get a couple of elbows into your ribs, and it just really hurts as you try to sit by the side of Saban and everyone else. With that said, you during all of this, you take... Wow, the dice gods are in your favor. You take 3 bludgeoning damage.
Both of us, or just...
No, just Chris. You rolled a 21. People are looking at you at this hulking figure, and they choose to not try and get too roughly with you. You definitely still get some shoves and everything, but for the most part, you are fine. Rika, because of this, you get separated for a moment as you try to dodge the worst, as you see a couple stronger men heading your way, and that itself, if they were to really run into you, it would be trouble for you. And as you dodge out of the way, you try to refine the rest of you. And at this point, you see that in this crowd of people, young and old, different sizes of people, it's still relatively easy to try and keep the head out, because first of all, Saban is relatively tall and he does stand out in his fashion choices from the rest of the people here. Although you see some people that are similarly cloaked and such. However, you have at this point also lost Sarah and Vasily, who you no longer see. Saban, you just don't see any of the people anymore. You're trying to keep a lookout, trying to protect everyone as best as possible, but it seems No one's around
More
you.
focused on Anna, and
Yes,
I'm just trusting
that
that
was
they're following
definitely-
right behind me.
At this
Yeah.
point, you realize that was definitely a good choice because you don't see any of the others anymore. The only person you're certain is still with you is Anna, and that's only because you've got an arm around her and a cloak surrounding her.
Yeah.
Until you arrive, and then you go, "Hey, who are you?"
Wait, you're not even. You're a halfling. You're a full-grown halfling.
I can pay you. And Saban, you managed to cross relatively safely, and we'll get with that in just a second. Saban, as you get further and further to Vasily's house, I want you to roll me another athletics check to actually manage to take the curve to get into the house and not continue being dragged alongside the rest of the crowd further down the street.
Ooh.
Why don't you yeet
Not
Anna
when
through
I
the
want
window?
Due to your
This shit.
Due to your previous roll, I will grant you one intimidation roll with disadvantage, though, to see if you can still swing this around.
All right.
Afraid not. As you try and keep your posture, the priority here is very simply keep Anna safe. And with all the elbowing going on, the only thing you really have over her is a cloak. It would still be very easy for somebody to elbow through that. With that being your priority, right now, priority is to get out of the danger zone. And you currently don't see any good way of getting to Vasily's. There's just too many people in the way, it would be too risky. So for now, you decide, okay, we'll just go with the wave. Eventually, it will open up and we can just sort of like collect ourselves on the sidelines and make sure nobody gets hurt. So that's what's currently happening with you.
Is Anna getting elbowed in the face this whole time?
Sorry?
Because she's short? Is Anna getting elbowed in the face this whole time because she's short?
No,
No, I mean,
I-
Saban has his arm around her shoulder, so like,
So it's mostly
okay.
Saban getting elbowed in his
Public
arm.
service announcement. During this role-playing game, no children will come to harm. Unless the
Okay.
party severely fucks up, in which case they will.
yes, thank you for that.
Wow.
Fuck around and find out.
But as it
No.
happens, you get dragged down further down the road. Recap. You're currently still a bit of a distance away from Zaban. And as you are basically about to cross Vasily's threshold, you notice that he is not moving towards Vasily's. He lets himself carried away further down. What is your decision? Do you want to try and make a go for it yourself to get to Vasily's, or do you keep on going with him?
I
Your
gotta
roll is
get him
fine either
out.
way.
I gotta get him. I gotta try to get him, to the side so that we can get back to Vasily's.
Okay, so you're
Like,
going to
you
head to Vasily's.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I'm gonna go get them so we can get out of the way of the crowd.
Sorry, you want to do what exactly?
I want to go to them.
You want to go to Vasily.
No, to
No, to us.
Oh, okay, so you're
to
heading...
Zaban and Anna.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, at the current pace that it's going, you're not going to catch up with them, and let me say it like that. You're not going to catch up with them before passing Vasily's.
No, it doesn't matter.
Okay, just wanted to clarify that.
Hmm.
With that, your
I have
strategy
my both
is...
hands and I'll hammer my way through.
Your strategy is precisely the opposite of Saban's. Rather than trying to handle your way through the crowd, trying to stay resolved and everything, you utilize your slim frame to essentially what is swimming through the crowd. You utilize the forwards propulsion by the people, sort of bowing, ducking, weaving in between the people to try and get ahead and slowly but surely inch closer without getting hurt or getting more elbows into your face. And as this all happens, both of you get carried further down this way. At this point, several of the crowds, as you're approaching the end, the end mouth that leads into the open streets, the crowds are dispersing into every which direction, into alleyways, into the open road, and as that happens, actually, they start dispersing more and more into alleyways. And as you start heading in crossing the threshold of the mouth, you can see why. It's because the guards have set up outposts both here and here on the main road, clearly trying to make sure that they're cutting off any potential criminals that are trying to get away in the crowd. It is at this point that you get, you can either try and hold your ground to somehow remain on the main street, try and square somewhere into the off direction, but you will be seen by the guards, so that shouldn't be too much of a problem. Or you simply, or failing that, you go with the flow and you end up in one of the side alleys. What would you like to do? Let's start with Saban. The path of least resistance and of biggest safety here is definitely to try and get out of the crowd onto the main road.
I think Saban would think it's a good place to get somewhere where he can think on how to get to Vasily.
So will you try and break out of the flow or continue with the flow, not resisting it and...
Break out of it.
Okay. In which
and then
case...
have a look around, see if I can see any of the others.
Okay. In which case, I need you to roll me an athletics. Okay, this
Was an 18 and then it turned to a 5.
Okay, I don't know how that worked, but either way, that is enough.
3D dice.
As the wave goes, you manage to catch yourself just barely on one of the corners of the alleys, and you basically pull yourself with your grip backwards. And some of the people trying to line with your back as they sort of like brush past you into the alleyway. And all the while, you make sure that there's no damage that is coming to
Anna.
As this happens, you feel one particularly burly man colliding with your back, and you take 3 bludgeoning damage. However, at the end of it, you manage to pull yourself along the wall, and you manage to pop out of the crowd onto the main road, where you're currently you stumble over, and you're currently leaning on the ground with Anna in your arms. Luckily,
Can check on her, make sure. Did she get hit or
alright,
did she get hit hard?
we'll get to that in a moment. Rika,
Yes.
as this happens, you see how Saban is approaching one of the alley's mouth. Once again, whole same scenario. And the question is, you have the same choice. Are you going to try... No metagaming here. You know what his choice is. But it looks right now sort of like he is going to be swallowed by one of the alleyways. You have 3 choices even. Even you independently decide, okay, enough is enough, I need to cut my losses, I'm going to try and get out of the alleyway here. Or you decide to go into an alleyway, or if you really want to, you can decide to stick on Saban like a fucking pest. So you're going to continue moving towards him, so you at some point collide with him and can actually, get things.
Yes, I'm sticking to Saban like a fucking pest.
Okay, excellent.
Because he has my baby.
Are you going to continue? Okay, are you going to continue sort of swimming through the crowd? In this case, I want you to roll me acrobatics. Okay.
If Saban sees her, he would try to grab her out of the crowd.
I'm afraid to say that you, with an 11, you're a little preoccupied with A, trying to pull yourself and Anna additionally with you out of the crowd at this very moment. However, at this moment, Rika, you do manage to catch up to him, but not soon enough that you realize that he's actually what he's doing. For you, for a moment, it just looked like he stopped moving, but you realize he's actually hanging onto the wall, trying to drag himself out, and you're threatening to actually swoosh past him. At this point, he can't help you. He's way too preoccupied. He doesn't have a hand free. You can try to roll me in athletics to try and cling onto him, to try and get dragged out alongside him.
horrible at athletics, but let's see no.
As you try and grab onto him, you completely fail and start getting dragged away. As you do, you see another hand reach out and try to grab yours. It's Anna. You roll with advantage. Well, give me another one.
On athletics?
Yes, on athletics.
11.
Enough. An 11 is enough. And with that, you grab Anna's hand. Saban drags Anna drags you, and you manage to all make it out. In even the bigger chaos as previously. Saban falls backwards from the sudden release of all the tension. Anna falls on him, and you fall on both of them. And with that, you are out of this mess, as you see the rest of the people simply flow behind you. Some confused and scared people also doing the same as you, trying to get out and remaining here. Are you alright?
Yes. Are you alright? Did anything happen? Are you hurt?
No, I'm fine. She is not being truthful. You can see very clearly that despite everything, she seems to have gotten a bit of bruised on her right elbow, which was the... Saban, you sort of grabbed you on her left, so... But it looks like she's able to sort of bite through it.
She's already won.
That is true.
These trolls are getting very popular here.
All right, let's see if we can.
People going through the street, or
Come again?
is it more free? Is it how much people are still on the street, or are we free to return to Vasilia now?
Right now,
Well,
there's still a
west.
couple of people going. If you wait, it goes really quickly, all of this.
No,
Just
right.
after a few seconds, the stream already starts giving out, and there's only a couple more stragglers that even more hesitantly and slowly come out. And as you look back, you see a couple of people in the street that you were lying on the ground, severely hurt from, well, what just happened. And at this point, yes, there's still a few people walking, people lying in the street, but it is safe now to return.
Well, I was thinking of giving her to you and might go ahead and really make way through them, but seems that's not necessary.
Yeah. I'm gonna see if any of these people need to be stabilized.
I'll go ahead and make it to Vasilis and let them get updated on situation, see if Vasily and Sarah made it.
Yeah.
What
I'll see you
happened?
there.
Why did this happen?
Just someone planned a surprise that they didn't like. Scared the people off.
Anna seems pretty troubled by what has happened, very clearly not able to wrap her head around the events.
Might have been just an accident. Maybe they were preparing a fireworks show. Have you seen fireworks?
No. Is that... I don't get it. What is a firework? I know what a fire is. I know what work is.
This used to entertain and
Oh wait,
get you.
I think I've heard of this before. I think one of the children in the orphanage said something like that. They said that once there was like a guy that like could like spit fire, and that was his job. So it was work.
It has the same intention, but you don't need to. They are kind of like candles, but instead of lighting up the area, they spit fire. I think Freak might actually have... Can you actually give her show what the firework would look like.
I can make a very small approximation of it.
Yeah.
Rick will use prestidigitation to make like a small shower of, sparks that.
Like that, but bigger.
That looks dangerous.
Well, it's supposed to be all the way up in the sky where it doesn't hurt anyone.
Oh.
But maybe an accident happened.
During this conversation, I'm assuming you're already on the move. Now, Rika, you want to stabilize the people as you pass them to move,
Yep.
Give me a medicine check.
No, I have spare the dying. It's
I
a
realize
cantrip.
that, but please humor me and give me a medicine check. You will see why.
Okay. It's because some of them are dead.
My, you're very, very good at predicting the future. It is. As a matter of fact, yes, for some of them, it appears spare the dying is a little too late. However, you're pretty sure that there's some of them that are only unconscious, even if it is beaten to very near death.
I think Saban only has experience from trampling, which is why he assumes that some of them are beyond saving, so he's... After Rika gets to that, Saban is going to try and rush Anna to Vasily, so she doesn't have to look and realize that same thing.
But yeah, you definitely do manage to save some lives. These people are now, rather than dying, they're unconscious. But yeah, there's some people in that street that definitely your help comes a bit too late for. Now we are going to head to the Vasily map. Woo!
Yo.
Specifically near a house. Is the map loading for everyone?
Yeah, I see it.
Okay.
It's loaded.
I like the house.
And with that, Saban and Anna, real quickly, let's cut to Leah. Leah, are you still there?
I'm right here. Give me one moment. I have people with motorcycles driving outside, and it's so loud.
Okay, something about a motorcycle. I'm not certain.
Sorry. There's people with motorcycles driving around outside my window, and it's super loud. And I have to get up and close the window. Okay,
So-
you have my undivided attention.
So, Septimus, as you are back at home, everything was going normally. You were having a good, relaxed time with Hannah.
I was.
I don't know. You tell me. What was it that you were trying to do again last time? Was
We
it
were
making a
trying
bath,
to bake
baking
cookies.
or-
I was trying to get her to wash her hands so we can bake cookies. I don't know if it worked. Should I roll animal handling?
Yes. Yeah, sure. Alternatively, you could also attempt me a persuasion.
Let me see what has the highest modifier, and I'll let you know. Can I try to persuade her with pss, pss, pss?
No, that's animal handling then.
They're both the same modifier. I'll just go with animal handling. Who cares? YOLO.
You cannot persuade
A 6 and a 6.
No, you cannot persuade her. For the life of you, you cannot manage to persuade her to do that.
Please, Hannah, just wash your hands.
All the flavor is from the hands.
The more insistent you seem to get about her doing that, the more distant she seems to get from you, thinking that you are some sort of evil, mean person that wants to do her some sort of harm. In fact, at some point you think she murmurs something about the water actually being acid or something like that.
Okay, well, when I hear that she thinks the water is acid, she's gonna say, okay then, okay, you don't have to. And, I'm gonna start pulling out pots and pans, just completely stop looking at her, but talk to her so that I kind of give her some space, but, she knows that I haven't forgotten that she exists. Kind of like you do with cats. And I'm gonna start pulling out flour and butter and all that stuff and start baking cookies, and take a piece, after I wash my hands, take a piece of the dough, put it in another smaller bowl, push it her way and be like, if you want to make cookies, here you go, and start making the cookies and start talking to her like,
Welcome to today's
So how's
spin-off
life?
game, Cooking with Septimus. Now, remember to wash your hand before starting to do anything. Get your flour and go on.
wash your hands, you inbred corpse fuckers.
Oh my god.
Roll me even animal handling or persuasion to see how well your cat tactics get you.
Fuck's sake.
In fact, you know what? I'll go even a little bit further and say you can roll with an advantage because you're using legitimately good tactics.
Okay, let's see. I'm gonna go with persuasion. 16.
All right. It's not a complete switch from one moment to another. What you're doing right now is you're building repertoire. You're sort of building a reputation with it, and you feel like she is growing more comfortable with your presence, which is definitely something good. And so you continue doing that, and you do that until suddenly, night is approaching, sun is going down slowly, and suddenly you hear a loud bang outside from the main square. After a short pause, you hear screams. You look out the window and try to see if you can see anything. And as you are looking down into the street, you see people running down that street.
Fuck's sake. I'm gonna rush. Like, I'm gonna drop the spoon or the ladle that I was holding. It's gonna fall to the ground. I'm gonna rush to the window, open it, and start yelling out at the people outside. What happened?
As you do, by the way, also Hannah starts sprinting up to your side of the window to try and see what's going on.
I'm trying to hold her back so she doesn't jump out.
Okay. Really quickly, roll me an intimidation to see how much you can make your presence felt to this panicked crowd. If you can even make your question heard.
Can I go?
It's not really a matter of fine persuasion.
I'm not trying
this
to
is
scare
more
them.
of how authoritative in this moment, how is your presence felt? I'm gonna have to insist on intimidation.
Okay.
Okay.
17.
As you do, a couple of people, while running, sort of try to draw closer to your window and go, "Explosion on the main square! People died, everything..." Past you. And as that happens, in this very moment also, you see, in addition, a couple of... you also see a couple of similarly cloaked figures running down. And as you are seeing them from the front, as they're basically running down the street, they are sort of interjected with the normal masses. You can see that they are also wearing plain masks as they are running down the street. After a little while, they keep on running, and as they do, larger crowd, you see how the violence in the crowd and the panic festers the violence, and they start getting onto each other. First, everyone tries to get out as quickly as possible with no regard for each other. And amidst all that, you start seeing Saban and Rika coming your way.
Well, I will have said to Hannah, "Okay, Hannah, listen. People are playing tag outside, so
I want to play tag.
why don't you go in the kitchen? It's for grown-ups, sweetie. I'm sorry. We'll play tomorrow."
She frowns, and she's very annoyed with that statement.
Why don't you go finish the cookies, and then you can show everybody what a great job you did.
She still frowns a lot. You notice that it's only for adults thing. Just didn't get you any points on that repertoire. But after frowning a bit, she goes to the cookie table and sort of stares at the cookies for a while, then looks back at you out the window, and looks back at the cookies, sort of sad. And then he
Okay,
just sort of
fine,
falls
come here.
forwards with a face into the cookie mass.
Okay, fine. Come here. Watch the people. And I'm gonna close the window and I'm gonna go to the door and I'm gonna be waiting for Saban, Rika, and the kids to show up.
Okay. As all of this is happening, you see them basically dragged away past. However, you also see Vasily and Sarah trying to make it towards the door after a while after they have passed. And they really struggle trying to get there. In fact, Vasily sort of like, you see his hands sort of reaching up, like trying to get through, but it's no use. Both he
Can't
and
I
Sarah.
run like to the garden, like from the bushes and reach out a hand and grab him?
You can certainly attempt it, but there's lots of people in between. Do you want to give it a go?
If there's a lot of people in between, I might get dragged with them, so...
That is a risk. I'm gonna tell you what. You can try rolling athletics with disadvantage, and then there's a guarantee you will not be dragged in.
Okay, alright, then I'll do that.
You're basically cautiously, yeah.
No.
It's not enough. There's just far too much distance, and they also get dragged down the way. You decide to just stay back and let this resolve itself. It's a brutal scene as you're basically watching it from the sidelines.
I start yelling at people to stop, running amok.
Roll intimidation.
Let's see.
In your most demanding voice, you try to appeal to their conscience. Maybe they don't even realize the harm they're doing.
Stop running amok, you'll trample yourselves to death.
And while it is definitely a very valiant effort, it's like a drop of water during the rain. You see a couple of people slow down, only to be pushed forward more violently by those further back that haven't even heard you. And while for a moment it looks like they get what you mean and they actively try to act on it, it's just for that small moment, and then they resume as they did. You continue screaming, but to little avail. Some people actually try and jump over the fence or get pushed over the fence and land in the front garden of Vasily's, where they just cover behind the fence trying to wait out until it's all over. And after a while, it is over, and the bodies lie in the street. Then you see Saban and Rika making their way down that street, from the way that the wave went into. Rika seems to be staying a bit further behind, looking at all the people lying around there, casting magic on them, while Saban moves a bit more swiftly towards you, with Anna in tow. This is where the timelines converge again.
Okay. Since Saban is walking in front, Saracen will jump and, hug Anna. And not even say anything. Just ask, are you hurt? Are you okay?
Yeah. You can see that she has a couple of tears in her eyes. But she's trying to be very brave.
More of a scare, but she did get a little bruised.
A firework went wrong.
Oh, she's gonna look to Saban.
Saban just kind of shakes his head like,
Yeah, that
Yeah.
happens sometimes. That's, sometimes it's risky. Oh, well. Oh, girl. And she's gonna pick her up and hug her and say, well, you came here just in time. I've got a big bowl of cookie dough that I just needed someone to help me make it into cookies.
You see her instantly cheer up, and despite despite the fact that her cheeks are a little bit wet from tears, she seems to already feel better.
Also a friend for you then, possibly.
Friend?
Like cats? We really like cat.
She looks confused, but the cookie dough won her over.
Yeah. Saban does kind of look
Rika coming
over Saracen. Where is she, by the way?
She's inside.
Rika's
I
dead.
don't think she likes me much.
Problem with authority. And I guess you have that by profession.
Authority. Authority is good. I don't understand what you mean. Can you introduce the two of them?
Sure. Rika's staying behind to look after the people from the run and make sure they didn't get bruised too bad.
Well, Sherson's gonna wait out in the yard waiting for Rika to come home, like a dutiful wife.
Saban kind of notes that, okay.
Mind you, Sherson's wearing an apron at the moment.
Yeah.
Amazing.
You gonna come and do the cookie dough? I don't know how to work that.
I'll just make it into small balls. It'll be easy. Your adopted child didn't wash her hands, by the way, so she has her own batter.
Didn't adopt them. Just let them go from the room they were kept in. I'm whispering this away from Anna. Anna, where are you?
That's a good question. Hang on, let me find a token.
I mean, that
Does
was
he have a
her
cute
token.
token? I want to see.
Wait, that was Hannah actually, so I need to.
That
Yeah,
is.
that's Anna.
Why do you use that horrible, like.
Yeah,
Because look, that's just a placeholder token if I don't have a specific token, okay?
It looks like a fucking, a black rider, a dark rider from Lord of the Rings.
I don't have any frame of reference as to what that is precisely, but yes, that is what she is. It turns out. Not really.
Not school.
well then.
Did we ever have a token image established for her? Don't remember.
For who?
For Anna.
For Anna, I think we did.
Anyway, moving back to where we left off. Yes, so you go inside, you try and get them acquainted. Do you do it in any particular way, or how do you acquaint them?
As we're making it now, before, if I see Anna, I'll grab her on the shoulder and kind of kneel down to talk to her about Hannah.
Okay, what do you say?
Now, when you meet Hannah, don't worry if she's a little unique. Try to be nice and don't command her over much stuff.
Of course.
I think you do should be fine.
Of course I'll be nice. I never, if she's nice, I'm nice.
Well, if you like cats, you're gonna like her.
You put the two of them in the same room, see what happens, and yeah.
Hannah.
It looks like it's not immediately going well. Hannah immediately starts off by basically jumping backwards away and on all fours on the ground, hissing at Anna. And Anna understandingly takes a precautionary step back and looks a little scared.
Anna, don't worry, it's me. It's a friend.
Man, I'm gonna whoop her ass if she scratches my kid.
Friend?
Yeah, you two can play together or finish up with the cookies.
Kitty like friend? You friends? Yeah, no, Anna is freaked out. She's hiding behind you now.
Anna, don't be afraid. Kitty is a nice girl. She just got a little startled by you.
To just put this into perspective, what Anna is currently seeing. She walked into a room where she saw a girl twice her height jump back on all fours, nourished, screeching at her. She's fucking terrified right now.
Up in the bone grinder. How different can this really be?
Traumatize my fucking kid, will you? Saban, they're...
Anna is having a hard time. Okay, you can roll me a persuasion to see if you can give her some words of courage.
Yeah, Saban will kind of step ahead towards Kitten. No, be afraid of each other. Neither of you want to hurt one another, I'm sure. And if you do, I'll stop it before you get to.
Inspiring.
Nah.
Kitty just sort of starts relaxing, sort of sitting on her butt on the floor, just going like, "I don't mind. I'm happy with friends. Are you friend?" Sort of glancing past you at Anna. Anna still looks apprehensive of this whole situation and a bit uncertain. She's not. She's kind of just staring at Kitty with very obvious confusion and concern written all over her face. She is, however, nodding along.
Should get to know each other before you make up your mind about them.
We'll cut away from this fiasco and get back to Septimus. Rika is finally done with her her insurance work of healing people and is returning to the house. Chris.
Embraced. Rika just walks up to Shaz and just embraces her and just stands there.
Yeah. Are you okay? What happened back there?
I think I fucked up. You know, I gave Lady Vesh forewarning. I think this has consequences.
Harrison's gonna hold Rika tighter and say, "You don't know that. You don't know that." Look, Look, just come inside. I'm baking cookies. Just come inside. let's sit by the fireplace, and tomorrow we're going to take care of our affairs, and then we're gonna go. You did what you thought was best. There's no proof that this happened because you wanted.
Well, I also think it's pretty hard to get a hold of the captain now. So, it's good.
Listen to me. No, it's no. We'll go together. I saw something.
Saw
I can
something.
Yeah. While everyone was running, there were people wearing dark cloaks in the crowd, wearing plain masks.
We saw some of those too after the explosion.
I wasn't able to stop any of them, but it is something that we should tell the captain. Well, let's go inside. She's gonna put a hand on her shoulder, rub her shoulder a little bit and lead her inside and close the door.
And with that, you make it back inside. Now, the interesting thing is, as I said, Rika, you also recognize the fact is that you did the person that you perceived to be a pickpocket was among those cloaked people I described.
So I know his face.
Yes, you do.
I'm gonna make a sketch in my notebook.
Okay, roll me a wisdom check with your proficiency in arts.
Arts?
What's the tools called for? Painter's supplies. That's it, I think.
Can I use a piece of coal? Like,
no, what I'm saying is like if you you don't have that. Never mind. So
No.
you don't have proficiency. Just roll a straight wisdom check.
okay. Wisdom. 13.
It's all right. It's of course not exactly lifelike, but you try and get the most distinguishable features down. Anyhow, as you sort of get back and see the scene in the kitchen, Anna and Hannah are currently eating cookie dough, and Anna seems to very cordially try and make conversation, to which Hannah isn't really responding at all. She seems completely focused on her cookie dough. It doesn't look like they're getting along, but at the same time, it doesn't look like they're not getting along right now.
They're eating the cookie dough. They're not making cookies.
Yeah,
Did you put eggs
they're just
in that?
eating it.
Did you use any eggs or?
I don't think he had any eggs.
Okay. Great.
They will live.
Someone would try to get them to roll them up.
Okay. They relent, and Anna easier than Hannah, and yeah. So the day continues. Is there anything more in particular you would like to do today, or otherwise we're gonna call this day at the end here?
So, Vasily and Irene haven't come back.
No, they have not.
Where are those two? They're out still.
I didn't see them on the way back.
Jesus Christ. Well, we have to go look for them. God knows where they might have ended up.
Not they were here already.
What?
Didn't see them, Rika?
I saw them. Keep going.
I didn't see them, so.
Well, if you two can make the cookie dough, I can go out and look for them.
No. You work very well as a kindergarten teacher between these two. I should go. Plus, you look kind of worse for wear.
I'm not sure if the kids should see it though.
What?
Not sure if the kids should see that though. I can still beat up with a hug.
No. Look, I'm just. She takes off the apron, starts putting on her leather armor. I'm just gonna go around the block. If I don't find them, I'm gonna come back and we can see what's gonna happen. But I just can't leave both of them outside alone on this night.
I'll come with.
You sure?
Like I said, I can beat up a thug just fine.
All right. Riri, you sure you can handle this circus?
Yeah, but we're gonna have to talk about that nickname afterwards. But I think I'll manage.
A lot of options when it comes to nicknames from your name.
You don't want it to stick, Riri?
Kaka?
I'm not calling her that.
We can workshop something later.
All right. Jerison's gonna, give her like a peck on the lips and then she's off. Takes swords and shields and everything.
Where are you going?
Also goes to get his sword, because he actually didn't have that.
Oh.
And then Saban gives Rika a peck on the lips and leaves.
Yes.
I can roll to avoid.
And Diazepam gets his bow and quiver and sword.
Anna, they're going out to find Vasily and Sarah.
There's still a couple of people missing.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
We have those cookies ready when we get back, alright?
Yeah. We can do that. She looks at Rika sort of questioningly.
Yeah, we can make it work.
And Kitten, have fun with Riri.
She sort of sprints halfway through the room because the room is blocked. Why friends have to leave? Kitty will come too!
There's a lot of people about and they may be a little violent.
Kitty can defend herself. She does not look like she can. She looks like a twig.
Alright. Prove it, Kitty.
Saban.
Fawn puts a sword back leaning against the wall. I am... imagine that I'm a violent person outside. How would you defend yourself?
But your friend.
I am friend, but let's play pretend.
If you were not friend, I would bite you.
Alright. Trying to do so. Saban will close in and try to grapple her.
Okay, do an athletic check.
He will let her try to bite first.
Okay, in that case, do you take like a dodge action or anything to try and prevent her?
No, I'm basically taking a move action and then I'll take a prepared action.
Okay, in that case, what's the AC?
She does something. 16. I'm not using my shield.
Okay, which is still quite high for a person like you.
Yeah.
She sort of tries and scroll around you and attempts to sort of like bite you in the arm, but very easily just sort of pull it back and she sort of misses it, and her head sort of clumsily sort of collides with your arm, not really dealing damage to you anyway. And that's her turn. So you want to make that...
Use that to try and take a hold of her.
Okay, make that athletic check. What did you roll?
18.
After she collides with her head into your arm, she sort of reels backwards, and you just sort of like pick her up, and that's it. You have her grappled now.
I'll hold her up and look at her. I think we need to give you some training lessons.
She's gonna try to kick you. And she succeeds actually on this occasion. As you pick her up, she sort of like starts flailing around, and her foot connects with your chin, dealing a grand total of 1 bludgeoning damage.
You got the spirit, Kitty, but I don't think tonight is... It's not enough tonight. We can train once I get back. That's a promise, okay?
Alright.
Be a good kid. Rika is fun to be around with. Saban puts her back down and hits the grapple.
Sort of moves away onto the carpet where she sits and sort of watches.
Yeah, spirit, kitten, don't worry about it.
She looks very clearly disappointed that she did not manage to do anything against you. Her worldview is shattered.
It is for her own good. Saban will grab the sword again and look at Saracen. Ready?
Yes.
Then let's go.
All right.
Alright. And with that, the two of you head out. And as you do, Valaki seems awfully quiet today. Especially now. Just a few moments ago, they were screaming, the sound of footsteps. Now, all you can hear is the very faint sound of synchronous marching rather, through the streets of Valaki. And I think now's a good time for a break.